Jake, you smell that? It smells like there's
Roses?
something in the air. What is it? What is that? Oh, that's just us being single as fuck.
True.
You thought I was going to say love, huh?
I thought you were going to go Lion King.
What?
In the air tonight?
No. That's kind of funny. No, I was going to say like love is in the air.
That's what I thought. That's what I was thinking. I was like, is he going to say this?
Welcome, everybody,
Can you
to...
feel
No, it's
the
not that.
love tonight?
All right. Anyway, welcome, everybody, to Supernatural's special Valentine's Day episode.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep. All right. How are you guys feeling on this Valentine's Day?
Are you with your significant other, or are you single as fuck?
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. If you are like us and you're single as all hell, then, just post up with us, post up with the boys.
Put on something red, pink.
Yeah, red and pink. Just because you're single on Valentine's Day doesn't mean you don't get to, you can't
You
enjoy
can have
it.
a good time.
Yeah.
What do the girls do? The Valentines thing? That's like a thing, right?
Yeah, I think that's a thing.
Why you say it like that? Do you know something that I don't?
No. I guess that's a cool thing for girls to do. I just know,
Broentines.
Yeah, there's nothing really for us. It's just, hey, man, you want to snag a beer or something? I don't know. I'm sitting
and then
here
you say no.
sipping. I'm sitting here sipping a strawberry drink. I'm not going to say it.
And I'm
not
sipping
sponsored, but I mean, you can obviously see it.
Something in this cup.
Is it strawberry flavored or
Strawbana?
is it Strawbana? That's what I should have done for this. I should have made a freaking strawberry smoothie. Damn it. That would have been funny. Anyway,
Would you like a smoothie?
It's Strawbana. No, I think Valentine's Day, I used to hate it. I honestly, I'll be real. I thought the contrast between pink and red was kind of trash.
Because they're like too similar?
Yeah. I just thought the colors were like kind of ass. Like, so Easter, I know, if you're religious, Easter is a big deal. I used to celebrate Easter when I was a kid. I honestly, I hated it from when I was a kid because of all the bright colors and there's just so much going on. The colors that surround the holiday of Easter. We're not doing an Easter special, by the way. That would just be.
We're going to be in the season by then.
Yeah, we will be in season. So there you go.
We're pretty damn near.
Yeah. So no, I just think the colors were kind of whack. And then this, I just like the teddy bears going around and like, I don't know, red and pink. It's grown on me. It's definitely grown on me. But I also have come to thoroughly enjoy the color pink. I think it's sick.
The color pink is sick. It's a good color.
Yeah, it's a cool color. I think, when we were kids, it was all like, oh, pink is for girls and stuff. I'm like, shit, dude, pink is sick as hell.
Are you more like a hot pink or like a light, nice pink?
No, light pink. Yeah. Like the color of this can. Mm-hmm. I think.
Or even like a lighter, like whiter pink is pretty sick.
Yeah, I would say the lighter pinks are cool. The darker pinks is when I start to get like, I like red.
Looks like a highlighter.
But certain things like that kind of come into my mind. But
yeah, Valentine's Day is an interesting day, though. Obviously, I don't celebrate it in the past few years. Mostly, but I don't really care about it. I know some people do, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's a big deal to them. They have to go, like, on a date. They have to do something with this person they love. It's like, can't you just do that on every other day?
Yeah. I mean, it does give couples who maybe are tight with money
or they're
things like
working
that.
a lot,
Yeah, it gives them an excuse to go out and actually enjoy the day.
One day they can plan.
Yeah. And so I get it. Have you ever spent Valentine's Day with somebody?
Yes, I have.
Believe it or not, a lot of people haven't, which I just discovered.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of people haven't. And it's actually kind of funny because when I think back on my life, I mean, I want you to tell your stories first, but I'll explain why here in a second. But go ahead, tell us about how many times have you actually celebrated Valentine's Day?
Back when I was dating my out of high school girlfriend, probably 3 of the 6 years we were together, we really celebrated it.
Mm-hmm. And then the other times,
it just kind of, it was just a day you just chilled together or just maybe did something like Nothing special though. No like crazy date or anything like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I don't know. But to us, it was just like we spent a lot of time together anyway. So what was the difference at that point?
Yeah.
Because, young love.
No, I get it. No, I definitely get it.
It's not like my Halloween experience.
No, I get it. I have only had Valentine's Day one time. I've had 3 relationships in my life, and it's funny how the two of them didn't go a year. And it's funny how the part of the year that we skipped over was February.
You like took a break and then came back together.
Well, no, because
don't people do that though? They're like, we got to break up around Christmas and we'll get back together around March 13th, 14th.
I don't know, man. But the point is like, yeah, that's why people. I've been seeing this when I was doing this research. It said, a lot of people don't or haven't celebrated Valentine's Day. They're, maybe the partner that they've been with for Valentine's Day didn't like it, and they haven't been with anybody else around the holiday. So then it's just kind of a thing. I did have one Valentine's Day. I actually celebrated it, and me being the hopeless romantic that I am, I did make a big, crazy like deal about it. At first, I didn't. So I was dating this girl back in. She was a senior in high school, and I was a freshman in college.
Did you get her a big teddy bear?
No, absolutely not. No. I'm the big teddy bear. No, I didn't do that. It was kind of, I'm not really more of a, like, I'm not like here's some chocolates and here's some like flowers. Cool. Like some roses or some shit. Cool.
Girls like flowers though. They do.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I'm saying flowers. Yeah. But like the teddy bears and like a card and stuff. I'm always, I have to be honest,
give them a card?
I have to be honest. I can't stand cards.
Really?
I can't stand them. I mean, from my grandparents and things
take.
like that, I, if you're sending a card, yeah, but I think it's like when you send a card to somebody far away, it's a personalized message that, is like, okay, this is a handwritten
thing. It's like a modernized carrier
away.
Pigeon.
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
But my point is though, is like, I'm not going to get a card for somebody that I can just tell you like if I got you a card, why the hell would I get you a card?
True. What about like a handwritten letter or something though?
No,
not that type of guy.
No,
I love pouring my emotions out into a piece of paper.
See, I would rather just say it. I feel like the words mean a lot more than just a note. Yeah,
but to read someone's note is different than just like telling them that. Like it's kind of weird to tell them that.
I don't know, dude.
I feel like my love for you is so vast. Like that's kind of a weird thing.
You know what that is
to
me? You know how it feels to me? If I was to get a handwritten letter, it would feel like reading a text message.
Yeah.
It'd be like somebody just texted me that and I'm like, sick.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you.
I mean, that's cool. That's why we're talking about this. I would just rather have somebody tell me that stuff than get it in a note. Like if somebody gave me a note, like if my future girlfriend, she gives me a note and I sit there and I look at it and I just go like, here, how about you read that to me? I just don't really understand. I guess maybe you can have it for like, if you guys, somebody's on a trip or something and you're just like, oh, this is cool. But
fun fact about that is I did go to Mexico one time while dating this girl and she wrote me a whole journal to read each day.
Good God.
Not like a crazy amount. I was only gone for 5 days, so it was 5 days worth of a journal.
Okay.
But it was just, it was just pet messages and stuff like that about like things that were going on back in life.
That's kind of cool.
Moment. It was pretty cool.
But you were far away,
right?
Is my point.
Right. Yeah.
So like, if you're far away from somebody and you send them a handwritten letter, I mean, I can understand that one. Well, but it's like if I'm here with you, like she's right across the table. Just tell me, like you don't have to do all the work. Just tell me your words.
Write it on a napkin and pass it on over.
It's a novel. No, so I'm not really a materials kind of guy, to be honest. Like, I really just like spending time and experiences with girls, and so
you like take them on a picnic.
Stuff like
picnics?
That. Yeah, dude, I hella fuck with picnics. Oh, absolutely. And then I'll put up the spike ball. And no, I think I'm definitely more of a actions type of person. Like actions speak louder than words. Kind of thing.
Show your love through doing something.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
It's like, I would like to, I guess this kind of sounds contradictory because it's like, you actually have to write a letter and you could just say it. But I think it's kind of different. If you write a letter, it's like, you could just tell me that because it's words. But if you're telling me like, oh, I'm going to do this better, or, oh, I'm going to do that better, like that doesn't mean anything unless you actually do it. Uh-huh. You see what I mean? So in a way, that's kind of how I would like to share my emotions, is through doing actions. Mm-hmm. So
what if they wrote down like goals to do that and then showed you as well? That's still bothersome.
No, none of it's bothersome. Like, that's what I'm saying. None of it's really, no. I like, if some girl gave me a handwritten note, it's not like I'd crumple it up and throw it away. It's just, I'd be like, oh, this is cool. And then,
I mean, one time I got 365 pieces of paper to read each day.
Dude, that's nuts. I'm sorry. That's insanity.
Of all the reasons I was loved.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of sweet. That's kind of sweet.
It was a cool gift.
Yeah. No, it's kind of sweet. Okay, let me just give an example. So my Valentine's Day that I had with my ex, she was like, I don't know, I was in college at the time. So she's back in my hometown, and I don't know how long, 2.5 hours away. And I was playing football. Like, we had our spring football stuff going on. And I actually told my coach that I was sick. Don't do this, football players, if you're listening. It might bite you in the ass. It didn't bite me in the ass, but it was close. So I had told my coach, I said, I'm sick. I'm not going to be able to make practice. And he was like, just show up anyway. I was like, fuck. But I didn't. And it was because I had told my ex, I was like, hey, I want to, like, well, she was telling me, like, is there any way that we can like meet up or something? And I was like, nah, there's not. Like, I'm not going to be able to do anything. And it was funny. It was actually my roommate who told me, he's like, Cal, just go. He's like, this is a girl. You're just, it's like, it's practice. You're red shirting anyway. So it's like, just
giving you all the excuses.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, you know what? You're right. And he's like, I'll vouch for you, dude. Like, you're fine. And I was like, all right, cool. Let's do it. So I get on the road, I drive, and I don't know, I got like an hour in, and I told her, I said, meet me at the Texas Roadhouse at like this spot. And she was like, oh my God, are you coming? I was like, yep, let's go. And then I showed up, she showed up. It was cool. No, it was a fun thing. I drove 2.5 hours there.
I thought you didn't like
Valentine's
Texas Roadhouse.
Well, she did. So did a lot of stuff for that girl, for love. A lot of stuff I didn't want to do. Anyway. Yeah, it's so that's what I mean. It's like, and I ended up really enjoying that, kind of surprise of like, I'm coming home. And then I had to drive 2.5 hours back because I had weights the next morning. But hey, it was my coach saw me the next morning and he's like, so you still sick? I was like, yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel very good, Coach. I don't know I can be here.
He 100% saw through that bullshit.
Well, you knew what day it was probably.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of my Valentine's Day. But I'm now that I've been single for even my last ex, her and I, we missed Valentine's Day each time.
Really?
I mean, we dated twice, and both times we missed Valentine's Day.
Just due to inconvenience?
Well, I was in San Diego last year when we were kind of talking again. Mm-hmm. And then the year before, or 2 years before, we dated 2 years ago. And she, I think we broke up before Valentine's Day, like the week before Valentine's Day.
It's like, all this baggage.
I mean, it was kind of good because I had a lot of stuff planned, like a hike and all this and stuff. But, it is what it is. So,
probably for the best.
Yeah.
Probably for the best. But this Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Tell everybody what you're doing, Jake.
Well,
he won't be here.
Everyone gets older in life.
Yeah.
And my grandparents, they love to get together with our family. They're big on just seeing family all the time. They're retired. They're 85 plus years old.
I wish I'd get there.
Yeah, they're young at heart.
Yeah.
But they love family, and they wanted to do a cruise, at least one more before, they probably can't or are unable because they may pass away or whatever the circumstance, right? Well, so that's what we're doing. We're going on a cruise. So in 3 weeks, counting down, by the time this episode comes out, I will be on the cruise.
Yeah, he will be. And I'll be here watching the dogs.
We did invite Cal to come.
No, I know. I appreciate it. I get
to be on a cruise for Valentine's Day and the Super Bowl. Kind of crazy.
It's cool. I think it's cool.
Hella more stressful if my team was there.
But they're not.
They aren't. You say can't win them all.
I know.
I kind of on the subject of sports a little bit.
What?
As a big, hard fan of football.
A big, hard fan. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Sorry. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Major fan of football. Right.
Yeah.
Maybe my words were
poorly chosen. It's Valentine's Day, dude. Everybody's getting some big heart.
Anyway.
That was a joke. Yeah. Go ahead.
Anyway. Football is basically a lot of my life.
Yeah.
And coming to the realization that only one team wins the Super Bowl every year is something I've always known, and just but the older I get, the more and more irritated I get that they don't. But it's so damn hard.
Yeah. Well,
and I can't stand watching my team lose.
Yeah.
It drives me insane, dude.
It sucks.
It literally changes my mood.
I'm fully aware. And
some people are like, how do you let a team control you like that? I'm like, I don't know.
It just happens. And, I've been
because they're the only good in my life right now.
I've been letting the Dolphins' success really hinder my emotions throughout the week. And
it's for better or for worse.
I don't know if it's I can't tell you. But it is an interesting thing. And it sucks because my team hasn't won a playoff game since 2000, which I think is the longest drought. Now that the Commanders have won, I think it's literally the longest drought now of any team.
Not the Jets?
No, Jets have won.
Really?
Yeah, they were in the AFC Championship back to back in 2008 with Mark Sanchez. Mm-hmm. So
you'll get there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that that's a thing, but I always thought to myself, I'm like, okay, when the Dolphins win a Super Bowl, I can die happy, but until that moment, I'm taking every precaution so that I can stay alive until that point. So I don't know, but
it'll be crazy though. The Super Bowl on a cruise is going to be a wild thing.
That would be cool. Yeah.
And now I don't even have to worry about my team being there, and I just get to chill.
Yeah. You just get to chill and watch the game.
But yes, I will be on a cruise. Wish me safe travels.
Uh-huh.
I'm super excited for it though. I have been on a cruise over New Year's and Christmas. That was pretty crazy too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even celebrate it at all.
Damn.
It was just it's December 25th. It's just another day, dude.
Interesting.
And then we had maybe we didn't celebrate New Year's, but I can't remember. Either way, it's going to be a fun time, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. So I do want to say, I want to talk about the one thing, because obviously, if you're with a partner, enjoy the holiday, whatever you guys are going to do, and just enjoy it, have fun.
And if you're not with a partner,
and then that's what I was going to say is if you're not with a partner, if you're like us and you're
still enjoy the holiday,
then there's a lot of ways that you can enjoy Valentine's Day. And honestly, the number one thing is treat yourself, in my opinion. Oh. I think if there's something that you've been wanting to buy.
Number two.
What?
Listen to our podcast.
Well, if they're here already, if they're hearing this, I'm sure they're already listening to it. Yeah, I'm just saying, it is tough out there. Finding somebody is tough.
Especially today, dude.
Yeah, today everybody's cheating on each other. Nobody's being loyal. Love is felt like it's gone. But if you find somebody and you feel like this is the person, then, definitely hold on to that because it's tough. It's tough for people. So, yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to make this depressing as shit, but damn.
No, it's true though. Like you think about it, it's not like it was when our grandparents grew up, when our even parents grew up. It's just such a different time because of social media.
Yeah.
You see a lot of fake BS lives, right?
Well, I just want to say one thing, and I know that we're technically on social media and stuff, but I do think that social media was the worst possible thing to happen to humanity. I do.
Oh, 100%.
Because you could cheat so easy. People like me who are like super loyal, I'm always like really afraid that the next girl that I date is just going to cheat and I'm going to have no idea. Because all she's going to do is just be able to just send a little text on her phone or a DM or some shit.
Dude, that's like building trust is so difficult.
It's tough, man. Especially with the shit that I had to deal with. Like back then, it's like, the wall that you build up, it's tough to like let it down.
But you can't.
That's why I go back to my exes all the time.
You can't put that wall up though and just like not trust them either.
No, of course not. And that's why you have to work at it. But it's just difficult when you notice there's a bunch of, I mean, dude, do you know how many guys hit up girls every day?
Oh, constantly.
Just like DMs and stuff all the time. And all it takes is just them to send a flirty response. And it's like, I would immediately dump you.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck are you responding?
Yeah.
Like, okay, if some guy was just like, no,
if you weren't interested, you wouldn't respond.
Exactly. Just don't respond. Like I know that there's people who think like, that's controlling behavior. But in all honesty, like if a girl DM'd me,
you're not telling her not to respond.
No, I would just be like, you can respond, but I'm going to go ahead and dip out.
See the door? That's where I'm going.
Because honestly, it's to me, if I was in that situation and I had girls DMing me, if I was with somebody, I would look at like I would see the DM and I would go, nope, not interested. Because I already have a girlfriend. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Delete that shit.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I don't even have to read it. I'd just be like, nah, we're good. Because that's just like, I'm with somebody.
Yeah.
So therefore,
you're giving them
I'm with somebody.
Respect, right?
Exactly.
At that point. You're respecting
now,
them.
if you even send a reply back of like, oh God, dude, one of my exes, she used to do this thing where she would be like, so she would go to, it's the girl that went to country bars and shit. And she would constantly tell me, she's like, I would get asked by guys for like my Snapchat and I would give it to them because I would feel mean saying no.
It's like, say no.
She's like,
it's a 2-letter word.
She's like,
you should
then they
get
would
used
Snapchat
to
me. She's like, then they would Snapchat me and I would just like, then I would, like leave them on red. But in my head, I'm like, bro, just say no.
2 letters.
Do you know how many times I was out at the bars when like I wasn't, when I was with girls and like some girl would come up to me and she'd be like, hey, like my friend thinks you're attractive or whatever. And I'd be like, yeah, sorry. No, I have a girlfriend. You know this. I say that even when I don't have a girlfriend.
Sometimes the girls are really persistent though. And they're like, no, you don't.
Oh
no, you
God,
don't.
Dude.
No, you don't.
Okay.
And then you have to sit
thing.
there and you're just like, God damn, leave me alone.
I'm super tall, right? And I know it's I get a lot of attention, not like that way, just regardless, people see a tall human being and they just look at him.
It's a little different.
It's different. Yeah. I'm like abnormally tall. So I get it.
As you can tell on the camera, even here.
I get it.
Whoa.
I understand. Okay. I get it. I don't think that everybody like, there's those people who are like, yeah, I'm confident. Everybody's looking at me on the street. It's like, yeah, everybody's probably looking at you like you're walking dumb as fuck. Like, I know that people are looking at me probably like, dude's tall as shit. That's whack. Like, I'm sure not a lot of them are like,
I would hate to be that tall or something crarazy along
something like
lines.
that. Yeah. My point is, I know, I know I'm not getting hella attention because I'm attractive. No,
Wait, one sec.
Yeah.
One of the funniest moments, though, is when another tall person comes around and then their friend group and our friend group try to compare heights.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
That happens constantly?
Constantly.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, yeah, there was this one time we were out at this bar and in the Springs, actually. And I was just, I was with my group and all of a sudden I get tapped on the shoulder. I turn around. It's this girl and she's like, hi, like, my friend over there thinks you're cute. And I was like, oh, thank you. I'm like, but I actually have a girlfriend. I didn't. It's just kind of my way of being like, I'm really not polite. In the mood for talking to anybody right now. Like, I like my alone time. I was just out because we were celebrating somebody's birthday. And so, I wasn't really in the mood for that. And she dead ass looks at me like deadpan and goes, no, you don't. And I go, what? I'm like, I've gotten pretty natural at saying like, oh, sorry, I have a girlfriend. I appreciate it though. And they're just like most girls are like, oh, okay, thank you. See you later. But this one dead ass just was like, no, you don't. I'm like,
yes, I do.
Yeah, I do. The more like she questioned it, I was just sitting there and I'm like, wait, do I? Don't I?
The more insecure your voice sounds.
Because I wasn't expecting it. Right. She's just like, no, you don't. I was, how do you know?
you were so taken back.
You're like, it was crazy. I was like, what?
That wasn't the response I was
yeah, literally
expecting at all.
So there's that.
When they hit you with a different line you weren't expecting.
That was a crazy tangent though, of like being what to expect from love nowadays. But it's true. I mean, it's true. I know this is a horror podcast. We're going to get into the horror shit. Don't worry about it. I mean, it's only
kind of just shooting the shit though. So.
It's only been a fucking half an hour. But yes, we'll get into the spooky stuff here in a bit. But.
I know we say it probably quite often, but I think some of the lightheartedness is a nice break from some of the heavy stuff we.
Oh yeah, especially the shit that I'm about to talk about. Oh, guys, come on. If you've listened to us enough, we like to end depressing. A little spooky, a little depressing, and a little bloody. That's how we're ending today. Absolutely.
It's true.
But, the one thing that I should have looked up, I didn't, but it just was a random thought in my head. I don't know why. When I said bloody, I thought blood is red. Red is a part of Valentine's Day. And I was like, oh my God, a heart. And I go, wait, why are hearts... Like, why do they look like the little shape that everybody knows?
Like a heart?
That's not what a heart looks like, though.
No,
like
a true human heart.
That's what I'm saying.
Like that,
so why does it heart, like the shape, not look like a heart, like the thing?
It'd be kind of weird if it looked like a human heart.
No, I get it, but who thought like a little thing with like two boobs would? I mean, you flip it around and it's a ball sack. I mean, I can't be the only one that sees that, right?
I've never thought of it that way.
Flip it around and it's literally, come on, dude.
I've never thought of it that way.
So my point though is that was the way my mind just went to that tangent, which is crazy. But I just was wondering, I'm like, damn, I wish I looked that up. Like hearts are, did you know strawberries are an aphrodisiac?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Got all the tangents today.
I actually did know that.
Yeah, chocolate, strawberries.
Super sexy fruit.
See, I'll tell you though, I've shared a strawberry with a lady friend and nothing happened.
Did you feed each other?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a whole thing. Yeah, it was shit. It was kind of hot, but that was just because of everything else. It wasn't like the strawberry itself.
Right. Yeah.
It was just I was just eating a strawberry. I mean, it really was just like, all right, here's the strawberry. It is. It's like, you're eating it and then you're just kind of like, I just feel the same. Like there's nothing different about this. It's just a strawberry. It's not until you add whipped cream that shit gets crazy.
Whipped cream bikinis.
Jesus. Whipped cream bikinis, bro. That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure it's from a movie. Seen Varsity Blues.
I'm thinking of, you ever seen Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds? Mm-hmm. It's like a Christmas movie, but have you seen that? Mm-hmm. You've seen it? Mm-hmm. So the pop star that he's dating like the whole time, yep. Or he's trying to like get away from, she has a poster of her with like the whipped cream like on her boobs and then like the little cherries like there, and then she's like spraying it in her mouth, and the one dude's like, yeah, I slapped the hand to that just like 2 hours ago. And they're like, what the fuck? The movie's so fun.
Oh yeah. I honestly don't like whipped cream that much.
Really?
Yeah, it's just dude, I'm not a big sweet guy.
Okay, but that's not really a sweet.
But it is sweet.
It like sweetens your coffee, but it's not like it's a fucking pastry.
True.
It's not a Danish. It's just a little dollop of whipped cream.
I just don't find it that satisfying. I could care less if it was on anything.
See, so to me, like, okay, so when my morning routine is I take my mug, I put it in the Keurig, I put a little pot in, make a little coffee, and then I put a little creamer in that bitch, and then I just drink it. And then it's like, cool. Now I'll tell you. The difference in doing that exact same thing, taking my mug, putting it in the Keurig, putting a pot in, chilling. All of a sudden it's done. Put a splash of creamer in there. Then
you whip cream it up.
You take a little whipped cream, you spray that bitch in there.
Then you shave some whatever on top of it.
You put a little cinnamon on the top.
Cinnamon or shaved caramel.
When it
whatever
melts,
it is.
Oh my, dude, it amplifies it like times 10.
Yeah, I can't get behind it. It's just not for me.
I get it. I get it. It's not for everybody. My dad hates it, but my dad likes his coffee like as black as you could probably get it. So, I mean, I like black coffee too, but
black coffee is just straight caffeine though.
Is what it is, dude. Like father, like son. Drink like 8 of these a day. No, I'm just kidding. If I drank 8, that'd be crazy.
You might have a heart attack.
I drink 3. Max. I don't think I've ever gone above 3.
That's still crazy.
Not really when you think about it.
No, when you think about it, it is.
No, because I do drink the sugar-free ones. And again, I eat healthy. I'm literally making a chicken stir fry for us tonight.
I'm not saying you don't eat healthy. All I'm saying is it's just wild that you drink 3. You had to give me your whole backstory.
Some people drink hella fucking beer every day. Some people smoke cigarettes. Some people do heroin. You know, everybody has a vice.
I guess so.
Mine is it just happens to be the Strawberry Dreams Monster. And I will say it there because I mean, Monster, if you're listening, please sponsor me because this drink is fucking peak, dude.
It's peak.
This drink is peak. All right. Should we get in the nit and gritty stuff now?
I think so. I think we've had a couple good laughs.
Wait, I do want to talk about one more thing before we start.
Go ahead.
This is a good segue actually from the kind of lightheartedness and the brokenheartedness into our little depressing ass section of the day. I mean, look, even Soul is depressed as shit. Look at him.
So you sad?
Yeah, he is just chilling now.
I can't even see him.
He's all like sad. Anyway, so we like to talk about holiday horror on this channel. And I mean, obviously when it comes to Valentine's Day, you have My Bloody Valentine, which if you haven't seen, it's pretty good. I would say it's
an all right film.
The 2009 one is mid. The kills are cool, but it was during that weird time when everything was 3D and it's super aged and like really digital now.
Mm-hmm. When they tried to make 3D so good, and it just did not work out.
I mean, the Texas Chainsaw 3D did that same thing, but I mean, if I can remember, only like 3 things were just like right in your face.
So was Spy Kids.
Okay, but Spy Kids was completely digital, and every little part of it was like 3D.
Yeah,
this is what I mean is like the Texas Chainsaw movie. You probably saw the blade like come at you like once or twice, and I think the beginning it was just like meat chunks, and it was like the title card, and it came at you. But other than that, I mean, I don't really remember a lot of 3D-ness in that movie, and I think that's a lot of it's practical effects and. Slasher movies should always be practical effects. I mean, we know that from Terrifier. I mean, it really is just when you can do a practical kill and have it look good. I mean, there's something special about it.
Well, and it's just going to age so much better.
Yeah.
Like it'll look that way the same forever.
Yeah.
Right.
But CGI, on the other hand, it continuously gets better and better. Right. So then you see bad CGI and it's super noticeable because you're like, okay, that's CGI.
Right.
I don't know. I miss being a kid because when I saw CGI when I was a kid,
you also
think it was CGI.
You didn't care.
Didn't care.
Yeah.
Now I see it and I'm like, God, that shit looks ass.
That's how I feel with Avatar.
Avatar?
Yeah.
You didn't think Avatar had good CGI?
It did for its time, but I think it's dated now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the new one?
That one was a lot better than the first one.
Well, I would hope so. Yeah.
But even then, it still looked a little.
Oh God, the new Avatar comes out in December, and it actually is going to be sick. Fire and Ash or whatever.
Oh, I know,
dude. So sick. That was when I was a kid. I always thought that if I had superpowers, I'd want to control fire or electricity, but fire is like a big one.
You'd be a firebender out here.
I absolutely like.
What was that? Did you hear that?
What the fuck?
I don't know. Anyway. What the fuck was that?
Dude, I don't know. That was spooky. All right. Anyway, I'm going to have one headphone off for the foreseeable future, just in case Jake and I, get mobbed. Anywho.
Strange noises coming from the other room.
I don't know if anybody... Let me check and see if anybody's home right now. You can keep talking.
This break is brought to you by...
Conrad is home, so I don't know if he's doing something. Oh, maybe it was a blender. That's probably what it was. He was probably using my blender because that shit's loud as fuck.
Sure is.
Okay, sorry about that.
Well, anyway, yeah,
Some elevator
CGI gets dated,
Yeah.
But the 3D movies, especially those horror movies, I liked My Bloody Valentine though. I didn't care that much for the 3D, but I actually liked the movie.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I would urge you to watch it again and just see how you feel after that.
It's true.
Because when I was younger,
the last time saw it was a while ago.
Yeah, when I was younger, I do remember watching it and enjoying it. I did watch it the other day. It's on Max.
Is it?
And I was like, good God. The kills were sick.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one. The pickaxe kills that they do. There's one where it goes right under this dude. Like I think he's like the sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, spoiler, but it goes through the dude's like neck or like his jaw and it comes out the side and then he just yanks it and you just see like a fucking jaw go flying. And that's one of the things they use for 3D because then the camera pans back and you just see his body go down, but then like blood chunks and then the fucking jaw just comes right at the screen. It's kind of, that was a cool kill. But yeah, I would urge you to watch it.
That
again.
was
the story was doo-doo sauce, but
that was one of the first like horror movies I watched.
Yeah.
Late nights at friends.
Yeah.
We rented it on DVD from like a Blockbuster.
Yeah. Blockbuster. Damn. It's kind of funny. The one thing that I found out though, doing the research, because I wanted to find out when it was, and I forgot, but when I was watching it the other day, Jensen Ackles is in it. He's one of the Supernatural dudes. He's also Soldier Boy in The Boys, but he's in the Supernatural TV show. We're not the Supernatural TV show, but my point is he's in that show. And the other guy who's in that show with him, like the other brother, also starred in a 2009 horror remake.
Really?
The Friday the 13th movie. So
that came out in 2009.
2009.
Really?
That was a good remake. I'll die on that hill. I thought that movie was sick. The fact that they have like the one.
I thought they were making another one.
The unfortunate thing is that the franchise itself is in such a. It's in such a constant, like, legal limbo. There's like two creators who are trying to say that they have the rights to the franchise. So they're trying to like, that's why the Friday the 13th game died. They weren't able to do any more updates and stuff. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I also heard that they were remaking Nightmare on Elm Street as a TV show.
I don't know how I feel about a TV show, but it would be cool to see them do
I think both of those movies would be cool remade again in more modern technology.
I agree.
Those are the movies that can keep being remade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because the remakes are sometimes better, Yeah. I mean, nothing's going to beat the original, but because back in the day, they had so many shitty ones.
Yeah.
Just like there was like 10 Friday the 13th, like 10 fucking Nightmare on Elm Streets. So the remake just has to be better than the worst one of those, and then you're fine.
Yeah.
So there's that one. There is a new movie coming out though this Valentine's Day. You probably have already seen it, or maybe you're seeing it when you're listening to this episode. I don't know. But it's called Hard Eyes.
It does look good.
It looks pretty good.
It does look pretty good.
It looks pretty good.
It looks better than Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And that means it's decent, at least decent.
The trailer looks pretty damn good. I'm not going to lie to you.
I was like,
cool.
What the hell?
Also, the killer looks great. The mask with the glowing hard eyes, like the emoji.
I just love that they're making so many more like slasher movies around holidays.
I'm just happy for more slashers in general, baby. Bring them on.
Yeah, it seems like a very popping genre right now that everyone's trying to make a slasher.
I'm loving it.
You even have what was it? Winnie the Pooh 2 come out. Not
Okay,
saying
well,
that's
I haven't seen
not
those,
saying that it's good.
Yeah.
It is a slasher.
Yeah.
The Mickey Mouse one is a slasher.
I think Terrifier helped with that. I think the Halloween remakes helped with that, or the new Halloween trilogy, I should say. They helped with that.
Well, you're seeing like a rise in them now.
Yeah, because they're bringing in money.
Yeah, it's true.
They used to not. You know what? There was a section of time when I think it was after that little splint of like horror movies that were like all the remakes, right? With like Texas Chainsaw, the Friday the 13th, the Nightmare on Elm Street.
Like after 2013,
Yeah.
really.
And then you started seeing people loving possession movies. The Conjuring came out in 2013,
Right.
which we'll talk about in season 2.
Yeah, those became
And
huge.
all of a
huge.
sudden, yeah, that brought in so much money that now there's a fucking MCU for ghosts and demons and shit. So it's like that brought in a lot of money. But I think with the remake or the trilogy of Halloween and Terrifier and all that, I think that you're starting to see people are really enjoying the possession genre has been falling.
Right.
It's been going down because there's people like us who are like, it's just the same shit over and over.
Here's
again.
what's going to happen though, is that cycle will repeat.
Yeah.
Because everything goes full circle. Everything.
It does.
Possession movies. Someone will come up with a cool new possession idea.
Yeah.
That'll hit. People will love it. People will copy it a bunch, do a lot of movies during the hype, and you'll see a fall in slashers, and then it'll just repeat again. And maybe a couple cult movies in there too as well. But
It's true.
those are like one-offs, but they're still pretty solid.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited for that movie though. It should be good.
It does look good. It does look really good.
All right, let's get depressing. What are we at? God damn. Okay. Well, this might go a little longer than what you guys probably expected, but here we go.
They were expecting just to listen to our soothing voices.
Well, I mean, it's kind of funny how we've gone 40 minutes into this episode and haven't even started our actual horror shit yet. Sorry, guys. Hopefully you enjoy us just talking, because we enjoy talking, as you can tell.
And this is their story.
Anyway, yes. So I found 4 haunting, unsolved mysteries, unfortunately, that happened on or around Valentine's Day. It is a holiday where you can enjoy, your significant other and all that, but at the end of the day, it is just a regular day, and shit does go down on Valentine's Day. You could have a stalker. You could have, I don't know, a crime of passion, maybe. You could have a bunch of shit. You have a love triangle, you're in for it.
You might want to get out.
That actually is what My Bloody Valentine was about, was a little love triangle.
Yep.
So you better pick Edward or Jacob. Anyway, this first story is titled Awkward and Unfortunate. On Valentine's Day in 2007, Art and Lois Sarin were happily married. The elderly couple had one child, a 39-year-old woman named Jodine. Jodine, however, was mentally disabled, and with that, I'm unaware, but to what it was, but she was able to function enough to live by herself. However, not enough to where her parents would have to make frequent visits to make sure that everything was okay. So on the evening of Valentine's Day, Art and Lois decided to head over to Jodine's condo and spend some time with her for the holiday. However, when they arrived, they attempted to open the door but found it was locked by the interior chain. Art looked inside and noticed all the lights were on. They called her name, but to no avail. Worried by the uneasy discovery, Art used his shoulder and broke down the door. He and Lois then charged to Jodine's bedroom where, well, she was actually in the process of having sex with an unknown man. So,
just your parents bursting down your door just to find you having sex. What a way to welcome them. To me, but what a way to welcome them.
Yeah, it's some crazy stuff. So, obviously shocked, Art told the man and Jodine to stop and get dressed while they waited outside. A few minutes had passed, and Art asked Jodine if she was ready for them to come in now, but nobody answered. Another few minutes went by, and Art had no choice but to go in. He opened the door to his daughter's bedroom and found her naked body lying dead on the bed. The man she was having sex with was nowhere to be found. Apparently, the man had strangled her before leaving through the condo's window while Art and Lois were on the other side of the bedroom door. While all of this is shocking, there's something else to the story. A theory that makes the whole thing even darker. The theory that I found is that the man was actually in the middle of raping Jodine, but she wasn't able to speak to her parents about it due to her mental illness. The man was never identified. It is a truly sad and horrifying story.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sorry,
told you guys
sorry
we're getting,
to that family.
Depressing on this.
Dude, imagine, excuse me, imagine just like walking in thinking your daughter's having sex and you're just like, oh, our bad, not knowing that she was getting raped and killed in the process.
And you're
like,
just outside.
You're just in the living room, like chilling, waiting for her to like get dressed.
Dude,
that's a haunting thought.
Also, the fucking gall on that dude to kill her while they're in the other room.
That's crazy.
And then just dip out. What in the hell, dude?
Never found either.
Never identified.
That's, oh my God. Yeah, that the freaking, that is crazy.
Yeah. No, that's
it's so unfortunate that she wasn't able to say anything. It's just,
that's the theory.
Yeah.
We're not 100% sure. I saw another theory and it said maybe she was, this is really dark, but maybe that she was like already dead.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's horrible. That one's a really, really messed up theory. So I hope that wasn't the, well.
And if the parents are walking in, like they're not going to really know. They're just going to see two people on a bed or whatever, you know. You're going to be like, oh, my bad, our bad.
You're not going to be able to like you scan it and see what's happening. You're going to be like, oh shit, my bad. You know, like
trying to erase it from your mind.
Shit, I've walked in on one of my roommates once, not going to say who, but I did. And I saw his ass cheeks and I was like, nope. I was like, oh shit, my bad, bro.
But like you have no idea. And then I can't imagine how they must have felt after the fact, thinking they could have changed and something.
No, I know.
You know,
that's brutal.
And you got to live with that the rest of your life. It's really sad.
Well, we're going to move on to another one. And this one is not any better. This one is titled Julie Valentine. Back in 1990, Glenn Hayward was walking through a field in Greenville, South Carolina. This field was unfortunately used as an illegal dumping ground, so there was trash everywhere. But Glenn had noticed a bunch of pretty flowers within the field, too. It was February 13th, and he decided he was going to pick some of those flowers for his wife. During Glenn's exploration of the field in search of flowers, he came across a bundle of trash that smelled of something horribly rotten. His eyes locked with a Sears vacuum box, and the smell got worse. He approached it, and the smell became almost unbearable. He then opened the box. Now look, I've researched some pretty horrible things, but I honestly think that all of these, in all of these specials that we've done, this might be the worst one. It is one of the most inhumane crimes that I've ever come across.
Well, what was in the box?
Inside the box, there was a newborn girl. Her small body was already decomposing and she was covered in a blanket and newspaper. Her umbilical cord was still attached and even the placenta was still inside the box. Glenn called the police and the baby was taken in for an autopsy. It was discovered that the baby girl was born 5 days before Glenn found her and she had died 2 days after being born. The coroner had said that the baby was born healthy and her belly even had traces of food, which meant that she was actually cared for at some point before being put in a box and left in a field. With absolutely no idea who the little baby was or where she came from, she had been given the name Julie Valentine by investigators. The only lead onto who could have been responsible for this was the sighting of a red Pontiac Fiero that had been seen at the site 3 days before Julie was found. But there was no other evidence, and therefore we might never discover who left little Julie Valentine in that field.
Really? They couldn't get like any sort of DNA, like the mother
Not
or
a
anything?
single thing.
Really?
Dude, that's fucked.
So my mind immediately jumps here to either the mom or parents just didn't want the child and got rid of it, or some sadistic fuck killed the kid and the parents, or some sort of that nature. That's fucking insane.
I honestly don't have a theory other than the fact that I think that somebody just put her in a box and just left her in a field just because.
Can't imagine being the one to find that either.
Oh, God.
Dude.
You're traumatized.
Oh, completely.
Absolutely traumatized.
Stuck with that image for the rest of your life.
Yeah. No, that's messed up.
It's like a very wrong place, wrong time type of situation right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's sad.
So that one's
all these people just.
you have to be a garbage human being to do something like that.
Oh, I know. Dude.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be absolute scum of the earth for that one.
I can't fathom hurting anything really, and let alone imagining someone hurting another human.
Yeah,
it's just
the only
crazy.
time I've ever wanted to hurt somebody was when the guy had pads on, and I had to block for my running back. That was about it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, that one was sad. We're moving on to the teddy bear incident. For Valentine's Day, you might get your significant other gifts such as flowers, chocolate, or other romantic gifts of that nature. Well, for one, Antonio Salvador. The gift of choice for his girlfriend was a little stuffed teddy bear. And on the evening of Valentine's Day in 2014, the 17-year-old borrowed his mom's car around 6 p.m., and that was pretty much it. His mom, who held Antonio to a strict curfew, just went about her night. That is until Antonio never came home. She called him over and over again, sent him texts every few minutes. Then she finally heard from her son at 4 a.m. Antonio said that he was on his way home. His mother, obviously angered by the delayed response and extremely late outing, was just happy to hear her son's voice. She waited for him, but sadly, he never returned home. In fact, it wasn't even a half hour after his phone call to his mom at 4 a.m. that Antonio crashed his mother's car into a concrete pillar, totaling the vehicle. Police officers arrived at the scene, but while they noticed the destroyed car, there was no sign of Antonio. Only his shoes were left behind. But why were his shoes left behind? Definitely a question. Antonio was filed as a missing person. Search parties were dispatched to help find the young man. This continued until February 27th. On that day, Antonio's body was discovered by a Texas port recycling employee who found Antonio's body trapped underwater beneath a dock near the Houston Ship Channel. The area was off limits to citizens, which is why he was never found by the search parties. The question is, how the hell did Antonio get there? The dock where he was found was 3 kilometers away from the car accident. 3 kilometers, by the way, is kind of fucking far, especially barefoot.
It's like 1.5, almost 2 miles.
Yeah. So the best theory that police have to go on is that Antonio crashed the car, then disoriented, walked to the dock where he fell and then drowned.
He walked.
That's what they say.
No way. No way.
However, that doesn't really add up.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
And there are a few more details that prove that that is not what happened at all.
If you were going to walk, why the hell you take your shoes off?
Exactly. So for starters, he actually never made it to his girlfriend's house that night. So literally, what could he have been doing for that long? And not even be making it like his way home until 4 a.m.
That like a claim by her that she never saw him?
Yeah, never saw him. So
interesting.
And, traffic cameras and things like that. He was never that way. So the teddy bear in question was also found in his pants and in between his legs, just floating there with him in the water. A witness came forward and said that they noticed a black SUV run Antonio's car off the road and into the concrete pillar. So with so many unanswered questions, my personal theory is that he was in some deep shit. And I don't know if it was guys he was working with or working for or whatever, but I believe that some people he pissed off and they came after him.
But why leave his shoes? That's like such a weird thing.
It is weird. I have no idea.
What?
Maybe he was trying to fight and his shoes fell off. Maybe he didn't tie his shoes and like his shoes fell off or something. I don't know.
That's potentially a reason, but yeah, it's crazy.
Definitely strange. Definitely a strange one. All right. We got one last one for our special Valentine's Day episode. Hope you guys are having a great time. We're not. No, this stuff, I think it really shows that, again, what did we say all of season 1? Gotta keep your head on a swivel. Literally.
Watch your back, trust nobody.
Yeah. This stuff is, it's always interesting to me because it's like, I don't think like this, right? Like I don't have a single thought in my head that is anything even close to this. And you see what people do to each other and it's just hard to grasp how, but it happens all the time.
I know.
And a lot of these stories just go, they get buried. You know, you never know about them until you look them up.
Select few that we have, and there's probably a plethora of ones just like it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's so sad.
So the last one, you actually might have heard about this one. It's kind of famous. So this is the Rundle family. Potentially the most famous unsolved Valentine's Day mystery of all time. This one actually occurred in Colorado Springs. And us being Colorado natives, especially ones that were kind of always in the Springs, we have to talk about it. So in 1985, Cassandra Rundle, a 37-year-old single mom of 2 children, was sitting at home on Valentine's Day. Her children, 10-year-old Melanie and 12-year-old Derek, were just hanging out. Derek played hockey and actually left to go play hockey somewhere else that morning with his friends. Cassandra was kind of a, how do I put this? It seems as though she liked attention. She was married and divorced twice and actually put out personal ads about wanting to date and find a man, to which she received over 80 responses in the months leading up to Valentine's Day.
80?
If you can put in an ad in a newspaper and get 80 responses in a couple months, shit. Anyway, she actually even met with quite a few of them, but she started keeping in touch with her second ex-husband again. And I will say that's kind of funny because
back to your
I've been on the dating apps and yet I couldn't find anybody that was, somebody I wanted. And so I went back to my exes like 3 times. Anyway, it is interesting how that happens. So,
you go back to comfort. That's what it is, right?
I think so. Yeah. Anyway, on that Valentine's Day in 1985, her second ex-hubby decided he wanted to bring her a gift. The gift in question was a record album. But alas, the only thing he found when he arrived at her home was a crime scene. Cassandra was found lying nude on her bed. She was tied up, raped, and beaten before being strangled to death. Now, if that wasn't horrible enough, 10-year-old Melanie was also found strangled to death on her bed. She had also been raped and her skull was fractured. Apparently, Melanie's room was trashed, showing signs of a major struggle. 12-year-old Derek was also found beaten to death in his room. His hockey stick was found with a lot of blood on it. It is believed that Derek came back home at the time that the murders were happening.
That's crazy.
While it could have been anybody, the theory is that it was a former soldier who was passing through the Springs. His name was Philip E. Wilkinson, who is actually still on death row in North Carolina. The reason he is on death row is not because of these murders. No. In fact, it is because he also murdered a woman and her 2 children in North Carolina in 1992 in very similar ways. But unfortunately, he hasn't been truly connected to the case, so this murder case will likely never be solved.
Really?
Yeah.
So 7 years later, there's a very similar one again.
In North Carolina.
Well, that story was very interesting and very sad.
Yeah.
It's always such a shame when the case is just left open and you have no closure whatsoever.
Well, it's the same shit as like the part that really gets me in that one is he raped the 10-year-old.
I know.
Which is just I can't even
fucking leave kids alone, man.
Seriously.
So fucked up.
I remember I was talking about Chris Hansen, To Catch a Predator, with my dad. You know, there's been a couple times when we've like turned those on because it's fun to like, they get caught and they try to play it off like, you know, and so it's fun to like just laugh and like roast these fools. But at the end of the day, you do have to think about it. Like they were there for, like, if Chris wasn't there, what could have happened? And I was talking to my dad about
predators.
It. Yeah, exactly. I was talking to my dad about it one time and I was like, I honestly think that if somebody gets caught for that, they need like to get their balls chopped off. Like, so like you deserve the worst punishment.
Not just their balls.
Dick and balls. You deserve the worst punishment for that shit. And if you feel like you can't help it or something, then you need to go get help.
Oh, yeah.
Like
completely.
you need to figure that out because it's so sick and twisted.
It
like,
is
go
not
out and find
normal
somebody
at
your
all.
old age. Fool. So that part that in that story that got me. I did not like that at all. I mean, I don't like any of it, but I'm just saying, like, I didn't that part. I was like,
just leave kids alone,
serious.
man.
Yeah,
that's so messed up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All
dude.
of it's messed up.
Imagine
All of
being
it's
the
messed
second
up.
ex-husband and just pulling up and you see that. I mean, like, I would try to find the dude and go John Wick on his ass. I mean, seriously, it's.
Mm-hmm.
I think the worst part is being in that situation, and if they don't know who they are, like we were talking about the Thanksgiving special.
Mm-hmm.
In that one, or like in the Thanksgiving special, that one cop or the sheriff of the town, he let his little daughter walk home.
Right.
Which, by the way, that was pretty dumb, if you ask me. But he's like, you know, you find, like, they found his daughter, like 4 years old. And she'd been stabbed like 30 times and like left in a ditch, and they have no idea who the hell did it. It's like, you're a sheriff. Like, I feel like you'd be John Wick in their ass, but it's just like not knowing who did it and just having to live with that. Damn.
I know. It's
Damn,
super
bro.
depressing, man. Rule number 1. Walk your kid to school.
Head on a swivel, everybody. And that's how we're going to leave you guys. Now, this Valentine's Day, be sure to love, laugh, and also look out for one another because this shit's crazy.
Yeah. Stay safe out there.
Yeah. I think there's actually a scene in that Heart Eyes trailer. It's like at the end where they're like, I think they went on a double date or something from what it looks like. And the dude's like, happy Valentine's Day. Don't get killed. And they're like, what? Why would you say that? Yeah.
Caught him by surprise.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Guys.
Any last comments?
No, nothing. It's just very sad, depressing. It's tough. Stay safe out there, guys. Thanks again for listening to another episode of The Supernaturals.
Season 2's coming. It's coming quick.
We've been your hosts. Check out our TikTok while it's still available.
It might not be at this point.
I don't know.
When this comes out.
Who knows? You can find us on YouTube still. Instagram.
Hopefully you guys are liking our Flick Fridays.
Yep. Those are starting here. Have started.
Yeah.
It's hard, it's hard to remember that future things. Yeah. Flick Fridays it's a fun little thing. So hope you guys like it.
Cool.
Stay safe.
Sorry if this was depressing. You could go back and listen to the first 45 minutes of this episode and be happy again. I don't know. Listen to our pain and sorrows about our love lives.
True.
God, I'm going to be single forever. Anyway.
Hope you're having a great day.
Yeah.
That's what we're leaving it at. And we'll see you around the graveyard.
Thanks for listening to this chilling episode of The Supernaturals. For your protection, make sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And stay tuned for the next episode.